Okay. Trixie, what do you know about Agile?
It was briefly mentioned in one of my classes before. It's kind of related to systems design.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strategy. That's what I know. But our professor wasn't able to expound it. Parang na-mention lang siya.
Oh, okay. How about yung others? I thought I saw kanina, June never pa daw. Yung iba, John Jerlet. How about you guys?
Sa amin naman po, na-mention siya sa SE class namin. It's much more flexible compared to the waterfall. Yun yung naalala ko sa class namin.
All right. Sige. Not familiar. Okay. Sige, I think I'm going to discuss in detail lahat na lang. All right, let's proceed. So Agile, if you're gonna take it from Wikipedia, it's a software development, type of software development, wherein yung methodology niya focuses more on what we call collaboration between self-organizing and cross-functional teams. So if you can sum it up in one sentence, ito na yan. So your team should be collaborative enough, self-organizing, and cross-functional. So if you can see naman, that sentence alone is self-descriptive, pero halos lahat naman organization, I think, aims to do this. It's just that Agile have this set of methodologies that you can follow and principles wherein if you apply them during your software development, you can say that you are using Agile and then you will get the benefits of using it. So later, during the exercise, makikita nyo on how Agile really is applied to a project. Okay? So as it says here, Agile promotes adaptive planning. So later, i-detail natin yan. Big words. Time box iterative approach. Okay, medyo complex word, but let's break it down. First, when we say time box, what does time box mean? Time box. Hello? When you say time box, what do you mean by time boxed?
Parang time blocking po ba 'to?
Time blocking, yes. In what way?
Yung parang magse-set ng specific hours for a specific task.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So as that's Aliana, right?
Yes po.
Yeah, okay. So as Aliana mentioned, if you say something is time boxed, you're giving it a specific start date and due date. You're boxing your time. So right, if you have this specific task na research, it can be never ending, right? Kung hindi mo siya bibigyan ng specific due date, like hangga't hindi ka kontento, magre-research. But if you time box yourself like 3 hours of your ang kailangan mong gawin, if you time box that to 3 hours, you will use what you can research in these 3 hours. Okay? Next term, iterative approach. What do you mean iterative approach? Anyone? Iterative. From the word itself, iterative. Abangan naman mag-English class pa tayo dito.
Repetition?
Repetition. Yes, in some way, yeah, it's a repetition. Sequential. Yes, repetition, sequential. In a sense, kung anuin mo siya, kung i-visualize mo siya, may kanya-kanya siyang iteration, right? From the root word itself, iteration, you're repeating a cycle, right? With improvements from the previous iteration. Kaya nga siya iterate. Iterate, ginagamit din to sa mathematics, right? Iterate nyo. Okay, sige. May English na tayo, may math pa tayo. Later na yan. Okay, encourages rapid and flexible planning. Okay, the third paragraph is response to change, conceptual framework. Very self-explanatory, so I will not read this naman. So later naman sa exercise natin, apply natin yan lahat. Okay. So, if you're gonna go right now or later kung gusto niyo sa agilemanifesto.org, you're gonna see there a single page ng lahat ng ginawa ng Agile founders. So, they want, ito, if you want to visit this. Agile is a solution to these problems above. So, sabi nila, on the project development before, they rely heavily on static methodologies. Okay? So, pag sinabi before, siguro, ganun na rin siguro yung mga characteristics ng mga workers before or mga developers, they have these static methodologies. Meron silang mindset na if it's not broken, don't fix it. Diba? Don't fix what's not broken. Parang ganon. So if it's working for them, why fix it? And then, sinabi nila, it should be an adaptive method. So what worked for this project may not work for this project. What worked for this project may not work for the future projects. So ayun yung finifix ni Agile number 1. Next is the time-consuming tool sets. So before, if na-involved na ka sa software development, sobrang daming tool sets before. As in, and if you need to use one, sobrang, you will need to, what I can say, invest time to learn it. And there's a very steep learning curve. In Agile, it is encouraged to use physical whiteboards for collaboration and then just use the lightweight tools. Just what you need to manage the whole project. That's it. Okay, and then overrunning projects. Kasi if you have an overrunning projects, if you have this fixed mindset, if you have this fixed deliveries, so one of the tendencies is magkaroon siya ng over budgeting, over scheduling, and over scope. So madalas yan sa mga projects. So sa Agile, we have this what we call variable scope to deliver the max value at the time available. Or what is the time given? Okay. When we say variable scope, what do you mean by variable scope? When we say variable scope, what do you mean? English word lang yan, guys. Come on. Changing, subject to changes. Yes, thanks, June. So, variable, it varies from time to time. Okay, from the root word itself. English word lang naman yan. Hindi naman tayo gumagamit ng complicated words. So, the scope varies from time to time. So, before daw, kapag may project ka, kung 100 na requirements mo, kapag tinapos mo yung project, dapat yung 100 requirements na yun nandun. So that's the scope. Agile, it's not that. Agile, we have this variable scope. Okay, next is final delivery is not what expected and not working. So madalas to sa mga projects before. And if not, Agile wants to fix it. We want to have a frequent delivery of a working product with feedback agad. So later, i-visualize natin to. Mabuti. And lastly, the system requirements, ito rin, parang kung ano man yung meron kayong requirements, it will mismatch what the user needs. And then for Agile, we want to have user experience focused stories. Okay, user experience focused stories. I want to highlight this one kasi stories is actually key in doing Agile. Okay, so kaya nga nagkakaroon tayo ng story in Agile planning. Okay, next. Okay, just a few popular quotes. And just to give you okay, Waterfall. Anyone familiar? Kung hindi kayo familiar sa Agile, anyone familiar with Waterfall? I'm not sure if hindi naman kaatan lahat dito IT. I can see naman dun sa ano. Sino IT here?
Ako po.
John, have you done Waterfall before?
No po, pero isa po yan sa discussion namin.
Okay, sige. So here's a quick comparison of a Waterfall versus Agile. So we say in Waterfall, all requirements are defined from the start. What do we mean by that? So let's say meron kang project and your client gave you 100 requirements from the start. 100 requirements, okay? Do this, do that, create a banner. I want a login button. I want a register button. I need a Facebook page. I need a marketing campaign plan for 3 months. I need 5 articles. I need branding, so on and so forth. So you have this fixed list of requirements, 100. That's all defined from the start. Okay? In Agile, it's not like that. Okay? The scope varies talaga. So the user stories are defined. I mean, the requirements are defined as user stories. When I say user stories, you will define them on how a user will use it. Okay? Sample, sabihin na natin kay Waterfall, a requirement may look like, create me a banner for my website. Right? Ganun yun. Sa user story, kapag ginawa mo siya sa Agile, as a website customer, I need a graphics on top of my website so that they would know quickly what my products are all about. So yun yung difference sa requirements. Yung isa, fix, meron ka na kagad alam yung gagawin, but in Agile, you clearly define who is it for, what do you want, and why do you want it. Kasi dun pala, makakapag-ideate na yung the person who will do it. Okay, sige. So kung gagawin ko siya sa Agile, let me get my place report. Kung gagawin ko siya sa Agile, sige, gawan ko siya ng banner, pero hindi clearly defined yung yung kung anong gusto niya mangyari. So sa Agile, if you do it like a story format, dun pa lang alam mo na kung anong gagawin mo. Okay, kailangan niya daw ng something graphics. So it's not like an image, pwede siyang GIF, di ba? Para saan yun? Para sa mga website visitor. Bakit? Ba't kailangan ng banner? Okay. Para may quick summary kagad yung mga visitor ng website ko. To know what's going on with my website. Maybe a sale, maybe a quick menu, right? So, sa requirements gathering pa lang, sobrang ibang-iba na si Waterfall and Agile. Okay? Okay, in planning, sa Waterfall, almost all requirements will be as detailed as possible sa umpisa pa lang. When I mentioned earlier na kunyari you have 100 requirements, from the start, dapat nililista na yan. That's Waterfall. In Agile, you will just create user stories as far as ahead that you can estimate and say, put details on them if malapit nyo na siyang gawin. That's it. Later, I will explain kasi why we are doing this. So sabihin nyo, Gab, bakit ganun? Why do we not define the requirements from the start? Diba? So, nagbabago-bago yung scope ng project. No, mamaya explain natin yan. Okay? In Waterfall, change is discouraged. So, in Waterfall, there's a fixed scope. As I mentioned kanina, if there are 100 requirements, that's it. In Agile, change is actually welcome. Feedback is done as often as possible, like every day. Ganun siya. Okay? So in a project, there's a definition clear from start to finish. And then the project is being reported ng mga key performance indicators or KPIs, what we call them metrics. Okay? In Agile, we have development cycle, sprint or yung kanina sinabi nating iteration, demos. So papakita natin to later. Also, there are burn up and burn down charts. Yan. Medyo jargons pa siya sa inyo right now, but explain natin yan isa-isa later. Benefits. So, sa Waterfall, everything is predefined. Alam na kagad nila yung gusto nilang expect at the end of the project. That's it. That's how project goes before. So, umpisa pa lang, I know what I want. This is what I'm expecting. Come back to me and give me this. So, that's it. Next is the benefits in Agile. The product or the project is delivered incrementally in smaller units. Big word again. When we say incrementally, what do we mean by incrementally? Anyone?
Increasing.
Increasing, yes.
Slowly.
Yes, gradual increase, slowly increasing. Yes, so those are correct. So we deliver the product in slowly increasing kasi ganito yan before ay may visualization tayo later. So pakita ko na lang. Sige, thanks guys for that one. Risk. So in Waterfall, there's a big risk that the final product may not meet the needs, okay, of the actual project. Kasi the requirements are defined from the start eh. And then it's fully understood na kapag ginawa mo na siya, yun yung project. But then again, we will discuss why not, okay? In Agile, sometimes the risk is not fully understood. And then, since dahil incremental nga yun, hindi, walang fixed scope, sometimes yung funding hindi ma-release kasi, what are you doing? You're not telling me what are you doing in 6 months and 1 year. Why will I give you a fund for that long, right? And then ayun, so that's the any questions on this slide? Waterfall versus Agile? Quick yes or no lang? Yes, no. Yes, no. Nothing. Wala po. May smiley face. None po, Lian. Uy, si Lian. Parang hindi ko narinig magsalita sa Lian. Alright, sige. Aileen May. Ay, di ba si Aileen? Error connections, continuous improvements. Teka lang. Yes, explain natin yan. June, thanks for that. I'm gonna explain why. Gagaroon tayo ng quick theory of what's going on about this one. Okay. Here's how we do waterfall in visualization context. Okay? Let's just say I have a project. Yung kaninang sinasabi kong sample project that I have. So, we do the planning and analysis in 1 month. So, let's say this is January. Okay? So we did planning and analysis. Nag-meeting tayo with the client. Nag-brainstorm tayo. Okay. This is what I want. Here's the web application that I want. This is how I want to market it. This is the branding. This is the color palette. I'm imagining it. These are the articles that I want. These are the photography contents that I need, the videos, and so on. And I want it to be mobile. I want it to be coded in this infrastructure. Okay, so you've done that, planning and analysis. Right? You've done that for planning analysis 1 month. And then you came up with 100 requirements, as I mentioned earlier. 100 requirements, fixed. Okay? The client signed it. Okay, this is everything that I want. And then those plans will eventually be handed over to someone who will design the solution. Right? So, be that the creative team. So, kunyari, in this project, everyone is involved. Someone from the tech team will design the solution. Okay, ito yung mga database na gagamitin. Here's the language that we're going to use. Here's the front-end framework. Here's the middleware framework. On the creatives team, i-design din nila, okay, ito yung gusto ng client, what do we want? Okay, we're gonna create a branding, we're gonna do this color palette kasi gusto daw ni client, medyo lively yung website niya, so we're gonna choose colors that are lively. From the content team, so we brainstorm sila and everything. And the marketing team, gagawa sila ng 1-year plan, campaign plan. Okay, for that 100 work requirements. Okay, so this will take, I think, siguro 2 months. So you have 3 months, right? Then you're gonna build it for 6 months. This is how it's going on before, right? Guys, take note. So ano na to? January. This is February, March. And then this is April hanggang September siguro. October, November, they're gonna test what they are doing. So, okay, check na natin kung okay itong patest natin sa client natin, ganyan. Okay naman siya, it meets everything that they need. And then, eventually, papakita natin kay client on November, December. So, that's your 1 year na waterfall. However, dito nagkakaroon ng problema. Pagdating dito, nagbabago isip ng client. It always does. Ay, ayoko na pala ng color yellow. May preference na pala akong color ngayon. Pwede mong baguhin niyo yung buong color scheme ng project. Ay, ayoko na palang i-market to with Instagram. Mas gusto ko na lang sa YouTube. Or I don't want it to be available in desktop. I just want a mobile app. Diba? Paano yun? According to sa planning natin last January, this is what you want. And then ngayon, come December, nagbago isip mo. That happens. It's a valid use case. It happens a lot. But then again, paano na lang yung project? There's so much time wasted. So much time that went by. So yun, that's waterfall. In Agile, where everything is incremental, here's what's happening. You're gonna do your planning analysis in small for just a small user story. You're gonna design for that small and then you're gonna build it. That's small. And then, if nakita nyo may momentum na kayo, wala lang dito, test and deploy. You plan and analysis small again. You design small, you build a little bigger, you test it, and then you deploy. As you can see, dito pa lang, let's just say this is just a second month. This is first month, or this is sprint 1. By the way, I'm gonna discuss the terminologies later. But in sprints, in Illustrados, 1 sprint is 2 weeks. Okay? Sprint, 2 weeks. Please remember that. Sabihin natin sprint 1 to. So, what can the team do in 2 weeks? So yun nga let's plan for it. Okay, in 2 weeks, this is what we can do. Analyze this, design it, and then build it. And then, again, on the sprint 2, nasa sprint 2 ka na, tapos yung sprint 1, plan small, design small, build small, test that small features, and then deploy it. Pakita natin agad kay client. Here, on the blue circle, on month 1, magkakaroon kagad tayo ng feedback from the client. Okay, papakita natin kay client, right? Okay, here's the product that you want. Any feedback? Is it to your liking? Are you liking it so far? So as early as the first month, as early as January, you already have a feedback from your client. Hindi pa siya tapos. Nothing's working fine. It's not the end product. But you will receive a feedback from your client. Dito pa lang. Diba? Month 1 pa lang. Okay? And then, okay, nakuha mo na yung feedback. Okay, plan ka ulit. Ulit ka na naman from okay, ito yung gusto ng client. So let's plan again. Okay, planning, analysis, you design, you build, and then you deploy. In here, nakakuha ka ulit ng feedback. Oh yes, mas gusto ko tong idea na to. Can we use this? Yes, sige. Let's work on that. Let's build on that idea. So as you can see, at this point in time, I already have 2 feedbacks from the client. And this is more accurate than they want because nagkaroon ka na ng first feedback And the second one, nagkaroon ka rin ng feedback. So you're going on the right direction because the iteration here is from a previous feedback which is more closer than the one. Kesa naman dito kay Waterfall. After 1 year, tsaka pa lang kayo magkakaroon ng feedback. Okay? Medyo magulo ba si visualization or everything good so far? Everything good so far, guys? Good naman po so far. Okay, sige. Cut off niyo lang ako if I'm monitoring naman yung chat box. So let me know. Okay, thank you guys. So yun, as you can see, mas accurate yung deliveries natin if we use Agile because we want to show what we are doing as early as possible and get feedback. I cannot stress that enough. Whatever you're doing, get feedback as early as possible. It's not like pinagawa ka ng something, perfectin niyo muna siya bago niyo siya paggawa. I think that's something that we all practice from the start. Like maybe pinagawa sa inyo, okay, parang hindi pa to gumagana, wag ko muna kayo pakita. Or meron pinapagawang something like in the branding, sa creatives department, madalas, sobrang dalas. They like to perfect the creatives work first bago nila pa check for client presentation. That's not it. That's not Agile. Kasi you're consuming the entire 5 days na inallocate natin sa tinimebox nga natin, di ba yung task? Tapos inubos mo yung 5 days, hindi pa po ako tapos, hindi pa po siya malinis. No, that's not it. On the second day, dapat pinapa-review mo na siya. Is this the idea that you have in mind? Is this a color palette? Kasi, remember guys, I think that's a famous quote by Steve Jobs. People don't know what they want until you show it to them. Something like that. Non-verbatim. Not sure kung yun yung sinabi niya. But that's true. Almost all of those. In my 10 years of consulting experience, I know all of those. Siguro 90%, they don't know what they want. And it's up to us as consultants to realize what they want and to suggest, okay, is this what you want? Is this what you want? Okay. Is it something something like this? Something like this? It's our job as consultants to convince them that this is the right way of doing it. And this may be what you want, but something better. Okay? So, malaking difference yun. Pag sinabi sa yung create this banner, okay lang yun. Gawin mo from scratch. That's okay. Diba? However, if you're a consultant, you're gonna show it to them. This is what you want, but I think we can add this. What do you think? Okay, can we? Oh, I know you like green, but hindi siya bagay sa natin sa branding natin tayo we're in the metal industry, tas gusto mong logo green. So, yung mga ganon. So, can we use this? So, kung gusto niyo yung touch of green, dito natin siya ilalagay. So, that's a consultant's job. Hindi kung ano yung gusto ni client, yun yung gagawin yung 100%. That's wrong. That's totally wrong. So, that's why Agile is actually the better fit for those kind of projects. Okay. I've seen a question from Kino. Pero so, at least they have an idea of the end result by showing. Yes. It's less polished. That's okay. If you have attended the skill brewing session, FYI, we have skill brewing sessions every Thursday, di ba? I've seen something similar do sa process. Filmmaking, architectural design process. And ang ginagawa natin sa Illustrados, I was so amazed on how different industries namin, but how similar yung process namin. Sa architecture, gumagawa ng wireframe. Si filmmaking, meron siyang draft script. So alam mo yun, from the very start, kung ano yung gusto nila, eventually, in the long run, as they go, as they plan, pa-improve siya ng pa-improve. So kunyari ito yung pinalan nyo from the start. And sa sobrang dami ng revisions niya, sobrang daming feedback, at the end, sobrang iba na siya from the initial plan. So that's how you go. That's how you do it. Lalo na kahit ano man yan, get feedback as early as possible from your team members, from your colleagues, from your leads, and finally, and especially, your client. Okay? Sige. Yan. So, another visualization. So, what do you think it's called waterfall? Anyone? Why do you think it's called waterfall? By the way.
Mukha po siyang waterfall.
Yes. And why? Why do you think so? Why do we have that image that it's like a waterfall?
It only flows in one direction.
Yes.
Like Agile, na parang there's a circular thing going on.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Guys, pasensya na kung hindi ko pa kayo mabasesan right now But sino ba nagsalita? Si Cass ba yun? Tsaka si Lian? Hindi ko pa lang ata kayo. Okay. Sige, thank you guys Okay, yes. Although scientifically, or hindi naman scientifically, alam ko may waterfall na may direction niya pataas But that's an exception. Okay, yes. Because in waterfall, it only flows one way. So if you're done with requirements and the old way of doing things, nakalak na yan. Ganyan yan. Pipirma na ng contract si client. Okay, here's the 100 things that you want. Can you please review? Client, review this. And can you please sign? Okay, once na na-sign na yon, that's locked in. We're gonna do the design from there. Now, the solution design team will have the reference from the requirements that was signed. That's it. And the development team will develop the solution based on the solution design team, from which is the 100 requirements. So, na mangyayari pa nagdagdag ng requirements here? Naging 105 na. Uulit na naman, di ba? Magde-design na naman, magde-develop na naman. So, the testing team, ang itetest lang nila is yung 100 requirements ng development team na kinuha kay design team, na kinuha kay requirements. And eventually, sa deployment, ganun din. So, that's why it's called waterfall. You cannot have it upwards. So, sabi ko nga, merong waterfall na pabalik, pero wag na natin siya discuss dito. Okay. So, there's a big outcome at the end. And there's a high chance this is not what they want. Okay? But in Agile, so you have these requirements, you do the design, you develop a little, you design, and you deploy. That's your first product. Okay? That's your wireframe. That's your draft. Okay? Okay, we're kind of leaning towards this process, this solution. Can you please check? Okay, dito pa lang may feedback na. Okay, adjust nyo nga itong ganyan ba magiging itsura ang banner? O nga, medyo cluttered yung information. Sige, bawasan nga natin ng date. Ilagay mo lang yung big sale at the front. Okay, ito ba yung marketing campaign plan nyo? Medyo mahal pala siya, yung total niya. At dami nating papagawang graphics like every day. Or parang kulang yung post natin Sige, dagdagan nga natin. Parang ganon. So here are the videos. So pinakitaan natin na silang storyboard. Umabot tayo ng 50 storyboards. Okay, masyado pala siya nag-run through yung video ng 20 minutes. Target ko 15 minutes lang Sige, pakibawasan. Diba? So dito pa lang, ang dami nyo na kagad feedback. Right? Week 2, sprint 1. On the second week pa lang may feedback na kagad. And then, you do the same thing. You iterate from the previous iteration. So whatever your plans is on the week, sorry, I'm just messing up the terms. Whatever your plans is on sprint 2, you're just gonna repeat it. Do the requirements again, but this time, you will take into account the feedback that you got from the first sprint. As you can see, you learn along the way kung anong gusto ng client. The requirements, design, develop, and test, and then deploy. Then here, again, get feedback. Okay, mas okay na tong campaign plan na to mas okay na yung storyboard natin. 18 minutes na lang siya. Sige, bawasan pa natin konti. And this banner is okay din maluwag na siya, mas maganda na siyang tignan. At this web page, this landing page is easier to use kaysa dun sa sprint 1 na pinakita nyo sa akin. Okay. And then from there, again, kung na-perfect nyo na siya, you can immediately proceed to sprint 3, requirements, design, develop, test, and deploy. Then again here, papakita nyo na kagad. So, just by this visualization, you can see that this product here below, malalaman nyo kagad, this is more closer than more closer. Mas okay, mas accurate siya sa gusto ni client kaysa dito. Kasi dito first time pa lang makikita ng client. Teka lang, tinapos mo na yung video. Kasi inabot siya ng 20 minutes, hindi pwede sa akin to. Yung time span lang is 15 minutes. Paano yun? Tinapos mo na. Kasi mag-aaway pa kayo niyan. Kasi po, sa requirements natin, sabi nyo, ito lahat ng storyboard. Kaya nung tinapos po namin siya, umabot po siya ng 20 minutes. Something like that. Diba? Or sa web app. Sabi niyo po kasi, ilagay namin itong mga features na to. Login, register, cancel, okay. View blogs or etc. Doon sa main page. Tapos pagkakita niyo dito, ay masyado na palang cluttered yung view natin. Diba? Sige, ayusin yan. So, ang daming pinagdaanan nun. Again, babalik na naman sa requirements. So, another 1 month, another 2 months. Diba? So, that's the big difference between Waterfall and Agile. Much clearer na ba? Dito sa visualization na to? Clearer, guys? Clear? Going once, going twice. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, wala. Okay. May papakita lang ako na image. Siguro nakita niyo na to. Nakita niyo ba yung drawing ng Agile na horse? Sikat na sikat yun eh. Nakita niyo na ba siya? Sino na nakakita nun? Ay, sino na nakakita nun? Ng image yung horse na yun?
Yung course po na parang simple drawing, tapos biglang tapos na, parang gano'n.
Oo. Okay, try ko yung share wait lang. Medyo prepared tayo today eh. Tsaka kung nag-stutter ako, pagpasensyahan nyo na kasi nag-e-effect na yung second dose sa akin.
Dapat pakita mo yung logo ginawa nila sa maestro.
Ayan yan, maganda rin yan. Okay. Okay, have you guys seen this na? Have you guys seen this? Okay, so ito. So sa Agile, sa V1, ganito daw siya. Yeah, okay. Ito, ganito po kalaki yung body. Ganito po kalaki yung head. Is that okay with you? Okay. Dito po magpupunta yung lalagyan natin yung ears and improve. So something like this. Right? So siguro, ano requirements dito? Requirements dito, can you please draw me a horse? A majestic horse. Siguro yun yung requirement niya. Okay? So, if you're gonna do it in Waterfall, okay, ganda na simula. So, as the time goes on, nakita niyo naman, naka 0.1 kagad siya. 0.2, 0.3. So, wala pa siyang version 1. So, as the time goes by, papangit yung product. So, you ended up like this. V1, tas version V pa. In Agile, as early as 2 weeks, mapapakita nyo, meron kagad siya pinakita. Okay, this is how big yung body, this is how big yung head. Is that okay with you? Yes, I think okay yan. Kaso hindi ko siya masyado ma-visualize eh. Sige, next sprint. Kasi, yes, that's okay. Kung hindi masyado ma-visualize si client, okay lang yon. That's okay. That's totally acceptable. Okay, here's the neck. Yes, pwede bang lagyan mo ng buhok? Okay, sige po, ganyan. Or as long as, so V1, V2, V3, V4. Is this the first time you're seeing this? Sabi daw may yes po, yung isa hindi. Okay. Somehow, this is correct, but misleading. This is somehow, where's my laser pointer? Okay. This one, sige, okay lang kay Waterfall. But this is actually not, it's not that accurate. The correct drawing or visualization. Ano sa tingin nyo mali dun sa shinare ko kanina?
Hindi realistic.
Yes. Siya realistic. Well, nangyayari siya, yes. But what do you think yung ano pa? Anong medyo mali sa kanya? Okay, sabihin ko na. Ako na sasagot. Alam ni kagad ni client na horse yung gagawin niya, di ba? Right? Pansin niyo ba? However, in Agile, I mean, in any project, 90% of the time, sabi ko nga sa inyo, they don't know what they want. Nagkataon doon sa drawing kanina, they said, I want a majestic horse. That's it. Okay? However, on a real project, ganito yan. Here's what's happening. I want a mode of transportation that can get me from point A to point B. That's the requirement. Yun ang gusto ni client. Ikaw ba from the very start, would you know that will be a car? Car ba kagad yung gagawin mo? Di ba? So here's the common understanding of people in Agile. They thought their client wants a car. So, ang gagawin mo, sabi nila, in Agile terms, sabi mo, Gab, sige, incremental dapat yung paggawa ng car. Di ba? So, uunahin ko gawin ko yung gulong. I'm gonna start from the wheels. And then I'm gonna start with the wheel and chassis. And then the body. And then eventually build the car. Who else thought of Agile this way? Kasi sabi natin, incremental yung paggawa. So, unti-untiin yung paggawa ng car. Anyone who have thought of Agile this way? Based dun sa conversation natin kanina? Yes. Yeah, that's the common. Common naman yan, Aliana. How about the others? O Gab, sabi mo incremental ah. So, sabi ni sabi ni client, I want the car. So, if incremental yan, simula ko sa gulong. Pinakamaliit na component, next to chassis, body. How about the others? Ganito rin ba na-imagine nyo? The top one in Agile? Hello? The others? Same? Hello, hello? Yes po. Sige. Yes, sir. Okay. As mentioned, yes. As mentioned, the client don't know what they want. Hindi mo alam na kotse gusto nila. Basta ang sasabihin nila, I want a transportation to get me from point A to point B. Okay? So, from the very first na iteration, give them what they want. Okay, eto na. Ito na yung version 1. Meron di pa to final, sir, sabihin ko niya sa client mo. Here's a skateboard. Sir, meet naman namin requirements mo, You can get from point A to point B. Yes, tama ka naman. But, gusto ko mas madaling i-steer. Okay. From point A, meron ka na kagad working product, di ba? Ito na si V1 mo. I-improve mo si V1 ngayon. But it didn't take you 2 years to build a car. Katulad ng iniisip natin. But skateboard, sabihin natin available yung components. You can assemble that in what? Weeks? Di ba? Okay, but gusto ko mas may control ako, sabi ni client. Okay. Ginawa siya ng scooter. Oh, wow. Okay to Yes. I think this is what I need. But medyo malala yung tina-travel kong from point A to point B eh. How can you help me na ma-improve tong product na nasa isip ko? Okay, sir, sige. Lagyan natin ng pedals. And dahil mas malayo yung tina-travel mo, lagyan na rin kita ng saddle. Okay? Para you can actually sit on. Oh, di ba? So from V1 to V2, you keep on improving. Okay, pinakita mo ulit kay client. Oh, wow. Yes, I can travel further. Kasi napapagod ako eh. I want to be more, I want to travel further. Pero hindi ako napapagod. So, okay sir, sige, lagyan natin engine, yung vehicle mo. So, you have your motorcycle. Kaso gusto ko, may masama ako or tapos seating position ako, relax ako, and maglalagay ako ng luggage. Sir, ito yung gawin natin. So, ultimately, you have this. So, you see the big difference? Here, nakapag-iterate ka na ng 5 products with the same schedule. But you keep on improving from your previous product. From V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. Okay? So, I hope that's clear, If wala na kayong questions doon, let's resume. Okay. Scrum rules. Please remember this. Kasi gagamitin natin to madalas in Illustrados. Okay? So in Scrum, there are 3 main roles: the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the team. There are also 3 ceremonies: the sprint planning, the stand-up, and the sprint retrospective and review. So we do this a lot. And there are artifacts in Scrum. There's a product backlog, a sprint backlog, and the Scrum board. Okay. Product owner. So si product owner, you can say, siya yung nakakaalam ng what the client wants. It can be, sometimes a product owner, si client. Sometimes, siya si business analyst. Or sometimes, meron talagang internal product owner sa team mo. Siya nakakaalam ng what the client wants. Okay? On month 1, gusto ni client makakita na daw siya ng landing page. That's okay. Lagay mo lahat ng buttons dyan. That's okay. But hindi gumagana yan. Understood naman yun. Madali lang gawin ng HTML eh. Day 2, day 3, kaya mo nang gawin yan. Okay, on the 4th day, gusto rin makita ni client ng draft ng storyboard. That's okay. Si product owner magde-decide niyan. And then, sometimes si product owner nga si client, sometimes meron dedicated the product owner. Remember that. So, that's your first role. In Illustrados, sometimes kami to. Kung sino yung kumukuha ng requirements, which is most of the time, the directors themselves, so ako, si Anel, si Pia, si Lois, kami nagiging product owner. Kasi we know what the client wants. Kami yung kausap nila every day. So kami yun. The stakeholders, mga decision makers, kami gumagawa ng product backlog, okay? And then kami responsible for quality. Ayan. We also accept or reject the work results. Kung hindi yan yung kailangan ni client. Hindi yan yung nasa isip niya. Before namin siya present kay client. So that's the responsibility of the product owner. Next is the Scrum Master. So Scrum Master, sometimes wala to sa isang project, but definitely encouraged to have one. So siya yung nagmo-monitor on how agile the project is going. So hindi siya directly involved on the operations itself. So wala naka-assign na task sa kanya. But the Scrum Master, siya yung sabihin na natin, he or she guides the team to apply the agile principle. Okay? Siya yung nagsasabi, okay, 2 days na tong blocking issue na to, ano dapat gawin dyan? Okay, that's a change of requirements. We cannot accept that in this sprint. Please tell the client na next sprint pa natin gagawin yan. So it's the one that shield us from the dark forces. So in Illustrados, we have this what we call dark forces. Meron din tayong dark lords, may mga Dormammu tayo, may mga Thanos tayo. But saka ko na yung discuss off the record. Yan. Okay. Finally, we have the Scrum Team. So Scrum Team, typically they're 5 to 9 people. I can say this is the optimal size of the team. I've handled teams much bigger than this. I've handled a team of 13 people. I've handled more than that as well. At iba-iba yun . back in Accenture, back in IBM. But I can say, maximum or the most, sabihin na natin, efficient team that I have created, 5 to 9 people, that's good enough. Okay? More than that, I think you need to create a sub-team. That's just me, but based on experience, that's it. Okay. Cross-functional. Another big word. Nabanggit din tong kanina. When we say cross-functional, what do you mean by cross-functional? Yes, thanks, June. So, applicable to all. Yes, Kino? Kino, am I, pronouncing your name right? Kino, right? Huh? Oh, how about the others? Multidisciplinary. Yes, Trixie, that's right. Okay, so that's why in Illustrados, kung napapansin nyo, they can be opened up by different peeps. Yes, thanks, John. Kung napapansin nyo kay Illustrados, if you've talked to someone from the member itself, pansin nyo lahat sila, may knowledge sila about something. Kahit taga-technology department sila, may knowledge sila sa marketing. From the creatives department, may knowledge sila sa content creation. Kasi we want everyone to be cross-functional. We want everyone to be conversant. Hindi porket nasa marketing team ka, you don't know what the technology team is doing. Okay? So, even if you're from the creatives team, hindi mo alam kung ano yung AI. Paano kung hindi po tagagawa lang po ako ng graphics dito sa Illustrados? No, that's not it. You should know what's AI. You should know what the storyboard is. Okay? So, that's a cross-functional team. Okay? So if you're a programmer, you're a tester, you should know what you're doing. You should know what the others are doing. Okay, so that's cross-functional team. Hindi natin sinasabi you should be an expert, but you should at least know. You should be conversant. Someone can talk to you, and you should understand what they're saying. Okay, everyone should be full-time allocated, self-organizing from the word itself, kasi in Agile and Illustrados as well, we practice that here's what you're going to do in this time frame. It's up to you how to do it. If you want to do it ng madaling araw, ng gabi, that's okay. It's your job to organize yourself. We know that people are, let's say, productive in their own time. May mga kakalala kami, they're productive ng madaling araw, they're productive ng gabi. Will we push them to work on it on a daytime? No, that's okay. So you should be self-organizing. You are responsible for your quality, and you should be able to estimate yung complexity. Meaning, ikaw mismo, if you're assigned for this task, you should know how many hours that it will take for you to finish. So, binigyan kita ng task. Okay, ito yung task mo sa project na to. How many hours can you finish this? I think mga estimate lang guess, kahit mag-guesstimate kayo, that's okay. That will take me 4 hours. So sabihin na natin kung may revision pa 1 day, one day to 2 days. So we know on 2 days, you will be working on this task. Right? So meron ka na lang natitirang 8 days from the sprint. Kasi you can accurately measure or guesstimate what you're doing. And then, lastly, the team should be able to commit to each increment of deliverable software. So, kung sa version 1, pinaramis natin kay client, meron siyang landing page, meron siyang draft video, sabihin na natin hindi pa polished, meron siyang 2 articles, meron na siyang tumatakbong campaign plan, meron na siyang konting branding. Everyone should commit on sprint 1, meaning at the end of 2 weeks, magagawa natin lahat yan. That's a Scrum team. Okay? Sabihin niyo naman, feedback niyo, Gab, that's too fast. That's masyado mabilis. Wala tayong matatapos in 2 weeks. Then again, this is Agile. We will commit to the smallest chunks of work. Remember that. Hindi tayo gagawa ng work that will take us 3 to 5 days to finish. If that work will take us 5 days to finish, we will divide it until na siya yung smallest chunks of work. Okay, the smallest chunk. And then yun ang gagawin natin. Okay, sample, web page. Gusto ko ng landing page sa website ko. Typical client requirement. So, paano natin siya breakdown? Okay, create section 1. Section 1. Kasi yung section 1, yung sabihin natin panel sa website, yung pinaka nakikita mo sa taas, ang dami pang features doon. Breakdown mo. Create about me button that will be directed to the about me page. O create a booking button. So sa taas pa lang may booking button na. So breakdown mo pa rin siya. Tapos yung booking button. So dun pa lang, pag na-breakdown mo na siya, ang dami na kagad papasok sa isip mo. Kailangan ko ng magko-connect sa back-end. Kailangan ko i-check yung calendar. Kailangan ko siya save sa database. Kailangan ko mag-send ng email notification. O dun pa lang, yung booking button pa lang, ang dami mo nang gagawin. I-breakdown mo siya ulit. Create a database for bookings. Create an email notification feature for bookings. Diba? Create a calendar for all bookings. Nasa section 1 pa lang tayo. Diba? So, dun pa lang, you should be able to break down the smallest chunks of work and then you work on it. That's Agile. Okay? Am I going too fast? Kasi ano na tayo eh. Within 5 minutes, we'll be doing a lab exercise. Any questions from Scrum Team? Wala? Sige. Understood nyo yun ha? Bahala kayo. Okay. Scrum artifacts. So, later, describe natin, and since dun sa activity natin, I'll describe the product backlog. The sprint planning, we will be doing the sprint planning after this. Sprint, as mentioned, consists of 1 to 4 weeks. So, for this one, in Illus, we practice 2-week sprints. Okay? So, pag sinabi namin it will take 2 sprints, it will take 1 month. Please take note of that. So, we will have a daily Scrum meeting. As you or may not know, this daily Scrum meeting in Illus we call daily SKL. So, wag niyo na lang ask bakit kami ganun. Di rin namin alam. Basta ganun kami. Anyway, next. Basta daily SKL yung tawag namin. Okay, the next is sprint review. And then, finally, after sprint, meron kayong finish work. Ito, napaka-important ito, and most Agile teams forget this. It is sprint retrospective. We will be doing this later kagad. As a, as a sample lang. Pero yung sprint retrospective talaga ginagawa siya after sprint. Okay? So, another acronym that you will forget tomorrow, so wag na natin i-discuss. So, ito. So, good user story. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na what's a good user story? What's a good requirement? Pag gumagawa ka ng requirement, ano ba dapat yung laman niya? So, you should know who is it for, what is it for, and why. Ano ba yung value nung ina-add nun? Okay? So, kung meron ka dito na as an application or as a user, I want a website banner. As a website visitor, I want a website banner displayed on top of the website. Sundan mo agad ang why. Ba't mo gagawin yun? Dapat may why ka agad. So that all website visitors have, a quick idea on what's on sale. Parang ganun. So mali pa ata yung ginawa ko. So as a website visitor, yes, sino ba yung, I want a banner to be displayed on top so that I know na ano yung on sale on that day. So, di ba? So, ikaw, as a creatives consultant, alam mo na kagad gagawin mo. Gagawa ka ng graphics, kailangan eye-catching siya, kailangan nandun yung key details ng mga discount. Di ba? So, si client, wala na siyang paki kung paano mo gagawin yan. Siguro may idea siya, may suggestion siya. Oh, gusto ko ganito may malaking red. Pero, yun nga, as consultants, sometimes hindi na siya uso. Kailangan natin pamukha sa kanila yun. The client don't know what they want until they see it. Okay? Sige, so sprint planning meeting, we will be doing this later. Skip. Okay, so Naalala niyo yung dinidiscuss ko earlier, the 100 requirements that I mentioned? So ito yon. Here's your product backlog, those 100 requirements. And then, the next thing that you will do is to divide that 100 requirements to each sprint. Ano yung gagawin natin kay sprint 1? Ano yung gagawin natin kay sprint 2? Ano yung gagawin natin kay sprint 3? Out of these 100 requirements. So, ayan yun. Okay? So, siguro, sa sprint 1, we will be doing 20 user stories. Sprint 2, 30. Sprint 4, 25. So, something like that. Okay? So, that's your sprint backlog. Here. Yan. So, there are key meetings, as mentioned. This daily Scrum meeting, that's every day. I think naka-attend na kayo, naririnig nyo everyday yung team members nyo on what they are saying every day. That's what I have done yesterday, what will I do today, any blockers. Yun lang, those three things. And a Scrum meeting should not exceed 15 minutes every day. Kahit ikaw mismo, dapat, kapag nakapagbigay ka ng status, dapat nga hindi ka abutin ng 1 minute eh. So kahit 15K sa team, 15 minutes is more than enough. Okay? Again, ulitin ko lang, what did I do yesterday? So yesterday, I finished creating the JavaScript for saving the booking in the calendar. So today, I will be continuing, continue doing that and add an HTML page. So far, no blockers. So ganyan magsalita yung reports natin every day. Why? Because that's the time na papasok si Scrum Master kapag may narinig siyang blocker. Teka lang, may blocker ka, we should prioritize it. Or, pag narinig ni Scrum Master and the product owner, ba't mo inuuna yung booking form? In-expect ni client yan, next month pa yan gagana. Diba? So, that's what the daily Scrum meeting is for. Every day, papakinggan dapat ng mga product owners and Scrum Master yan. Now, why are you doing that? Eh, wala naman sa sprint. Hindi naman yan kailangan this month. So, yun. So, that's why it's important. Sprint review, as mentioned, kailangan i-review sprint. Pwede ka mag-sprint demo here. Papakita mo what you finished sa client. And lastly, sprint retrospective. As mentioned, magkakaroon tayo later. Okay. Kanban boards. Who here is a fan of Kanban boards? Or anyone have used Kanban boards before? It's simple. It's a simple tool. Gawa ka lang daw sa bahay mo ng, or sa whiteboard. Gawa ka sa whiteboard mo ng columns, sticky notes. Ito yung mga kailangan kong gawin. Here are all the stories. Ito lahat ng to-do. Ito lahat ng ginagawa ko right now. Ito, inaantay ko lang i-test. Ito lahat ng mga natapos ko na. Anyone familiar with the Kanban board? Very simple. Yeah, yes. Yan. Gamitin nyo yan. It's an effective way to track your task. Kahit hindi sa project, do this. It's a good one. It's a good one to track whatever you're doing. Okay. Sige, medyo nag-overtime tayo ng 3 minutes for my presentation kasi maglalab na tayo. Any questions so far sa presentation? Going once, going twice. Speak now or forever. Hold your peace. Okay. Let's go now with our presentation.